So today we'll be taking a look at some stories with Vince McMahon, Charlotte, AJ Lee, and more. Let's start things off with the alleged real fight between Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax. It's been a few days now and more information is starting to come out from the Nia Jax vs Charlotte Flair situation. After Alexa Bliss's story was dropped, this match between Nia and Charlotte was meant to set up Nia as the next contender for Charlotte's Raw Women's Championship. But the most talked about thing here wasn't the match or the story itself. It was the unfortunate fact that a real fight seemed to be breaking out during the match. Fans noticed the tension quickly rising between Nia and Charlotte, who both looked extremely frustrated and angry with each other. Punches were thrown, slaps were thrown, and Charlotte was dangerously near dropped on her head. No one knows the exact moment that things started to get off the rails, but reports speculate that it was likely miscommunication issues between Nia and Charlotte. Things didn't go as originally planned for a moment in the match, and that led to this actual real dispute during the match. A lot of fans still questioned how real this actual fight was between Nia and Charlotte. Some fans wondered if that was part of the story and match, but all reports indicated that it wasn't part of the story and was Nia and Charlotte legitimately going after each other in that match for a few moments there. Lots of fans asked and wondered if all this tension spilled into backstage. Well, reports thankfully claim that it didn't. Whatever was the issue between Charlotte and Nia remained in the ring, and it did not carry backstage. So that's a great thing. Even though it makes headlines and gets everyone talking, no one really wants to see or hear about an actual fight between two superstars. Hopefully everything was squashed and fixed, but on the bright side, this story can benefit from a situation like this. Maybe this situation and what happened gets thrown into the story and becomes a part of it. That's definitely possible. The main problem with Charlotte Flair vs Nia Jax is that it's heel vs heel, which leaves the live crowd a bit stunned and confused on who to root for. Do you root for the heel challenger Nia Jax or the heel champion Charlotte Flair? So that is a bit of a dilemma there. The match will be hard-hitting. They have all the fans already talking about them after that real fight during the match. But unless a face turn happens for either Charlotte or Nia, it is going to be a bit difficult to pull off this heel vs heel story in the proper way. That's why the Alexa Bliss vs Charlotte Flair story seemed to be the better option, but that was dropped. Which brings us to our next story of Vince McMahon tearing up the Raw script before Raw. That headline right there is something we see every week. It seems that Monday Night Raw's creative process includes Vince McMahon tearing up the scripts several times. It just seems to be a part of the tradition at this point. That story comes up every week, and this week was no different. Reports claim that Vince McMahon was allegedly irate backstage at Raw this week. He also reportedly tore up the Raw script several times before rewriting some big changes to the script himself. The biggest victim of Vince McMahon's rampage this week was, of course, Alexa Bliss. You go back just 1 week ago, and it seems like WWE writers were fully ready for Alexa Bliss vs Charlotte Flair. They even gave us the actual first segment between Alexa and Charlotte. Charlotte was celebrating her title win and was interrupted by Alexa and Lily, who put Charlotte on notice right away. Charlotte talked about Alexa Bliss in great detail on Raw Talk that week, said that Alexa was more than a credible challenger, but that the doll doesn't scare her. So everyone thought, well, here we go. Here's the start of Alexa vs Charlotte. Here's another superstar with Charlotte, who's denying Lily's ability. This story could have been built from there. But due to Vince McMahon's apparent rage, Alexa Bliss was dropped from the storyline and dropped from Raw this week. You can also tell that the whole script changed because WWE was advertising Bobby Lashley vs Sheamus for this week's Raw all the way until Monday afternoon. That match obviously never took place. They acted like it was never advertised for a whole week. So a lot of things changed, but the biggest takeaway from that script change was that one of Raw's biggest attractions, biggest merchandise movers, Alexa Bliss, was left off the show completely. Alexa reacted to the reports of her missing on Raw and she tweeted out that she didn't miss Raw per se. She was very much backstage, but just not used at all. So it's very shocking because Alexa Bliss is one of the focal points from Raw. She's one of the main stars you see on every Raw graphic. It's always Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Charlotte, and Alexa Bliss. So for her to get the title storyline dropped and be completely removed from Raw was quite the shocker. Hopefully this isn't the start of a long creative hiatus for Alexa Bliss. Hopefully they're able to rework a new story for her this upcoming week. But if she's still missing on the next episode of Raw, that's when things will start getting a bit more concerning. AEW is seeing a lot of success from the debut of CM Punk on their programming. There's also some rumors of more reinforcements on the way with Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, and more. But one other AEW debut and wrestling return that started to gain some momentum and got some fans talking was AJ Lee. Everyone was saying, well, maybe AJ will get the desire to return to wrestling from seeing CM Punk back in the ring having fun. Even Britt Baker got the conversation going even more when she said that she'd love to have a mixed tag team match between Adam Cole and herself versus Punk and AJ. So that comment from Britt got the fans even more hyped. But CM Punk recently spoke with the New York Post and said that AJ will never wrestle again because of medical reasons. He had this to say: "I just want to say no, just because of her neck. The reason she stopped wrestling is because of her neck. She got a bad neck, you know? I wouldn't want her to jeopardize her health, and neither would she. So we'll put an end to that rumor right now." So CM Punk is officially putting a stop to all that talk and rumors. AJ will be turning 35 next year, and it looks like she'd rather stay recovering from her neck injury instead of just resetting that injury by stepping foot in the ring again. Also, not to mention the fact that AJ hasn't done anything in the ring in over 6 years. So much time of inactivity. Plus, you add in the neck injury on top of all of that, and you can start to see why AJ will likely never return to the wrestling ring. So AJ can't wrestle again, but the conversation will now shift to, well, she can at least make a non-wrestling appearance for AEW. And that still seems to be on the table for sure. Maybe there's a chance that she'll be at ringside, backstage, or even walk down the AEW ramp with CM Punk one day. Something like that will be amazing for the fans to see. AJ and CM Punk standing in the ring in front of a sold-out wrestling crowd. That's something everyone thought we'll never see again. So she likely won't ever wrestle again, but hopefully an ordinary non-wrestling AEW appearance isn't ruled out for AJ. But what are your thoughts on today's stories with Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, and AJ Lee? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.